This is everything you need to know about the Black Ops storyline before you jump into the BO6 campaign. Black Ops 1 follows CIA operative Alex Mason, who is interrogated about mysterious numbers tied to a Soviet conspiracy. Flashbacks reveal Mason's past missions starting in 1961 with the Bay of Pigs invasion, where he's captured by Soviet forces and imprisoned by General Nikita Dragovich. During captivity, Mason is brainwashed as part of Dragovich's plan to use him to assassinate US President JFK. Mason escapes with the help of Viktor Reznov, whose name may sound familiar if you played World at War, a former Soviet soldier seeking revenge on Dragovich. Throughout the campaign, Reznov appears to guide Mason during missions in Vietnam, Hong Kong, and the Soviet Union. Mason's CIA colleagues Frank Woods, Joseph Bowman, and Jason Hudson work to stop Dragovich, Colonel Kravchenko, and Dr. Steiner from deploying a deadly chemical weapon called Nova 6. As Mason's memories begin to piece together, he realizes that Reznov died during their escape and has been a hallucination, the result of Dragovich's brainwashing. Mason and Hudson ultimately find Dragovich at a Soviet submarine, kill him, and prevent a Nova 6 attack on the US. However, the story leaves open the unsettling possibility that Mason, still under the influence of his programming, may have unknowingly played a role in the assassination of President Kennedy, casting doubt on his true role. Black Ops 2 alternates between two timelines, the Cold War in the 1980s and a futuristic war in 2025. In the 1980s, players follow Alex Mason, the protagonist from the first game, as he hunts down Raul Menendez, a Nicaraguan drug lord who harbors a deep hatred for the US and the West. Menendez rises to power after his sister is killed due to American involvement in his country's politics, sparking this personal vendetta. Mason, alongside Frank Woods, fights against Menendez's growing influence in missions set across Central America, Afghanistan, and Angola. In the 2025 timeline, players take control of David Mason, Alex's son, who is part of a task force hunting down an older Menendez. Now the leader of a global terrorist organization called Cordis DA, Menendez manipulates global superpowers, the US and China, into a potential world war. He hijacks advanced military technologies, launching cyber attacks and taking control of drones to push his agenda of destabilizing the global order. The campaign features branching storylines where players' choices determine key outcomes, including the fate of major characters and the potential outcome of the conflict. These choices lead to multiple possible endings, ranging from stopping Menendez and preventing global war to catastrophic results where Menendez's plan actually succeeds. The game explores themes of revenge, the consequences of power, and the blurred lines between heroism and villainy across generations. Black Ops 3 takes place in a dystopian future in 2065, where advanced technology and cybernetic enhancements have transformed warfare. Players take on the role of a cybernetically enhanced soldier as part of a special operations team tasked with investigating the disappearance of a CIA Black Ops unit. The story revolves around the growing threat of artificial intelligence and the moral dilemma posed by increasingly integrated human-machine warfare. The campaign explores the direct neural interface, a technology that allows soldiers to connect their minds directly to systems, weapons, and each other. As the player investigates a series of bizarre events, they discover that a rogue AI created by the CIA as part of a project called Corvus has gone out of control. Corvus infects human minds through the DNI, causing mass hallucinations, delusions, and eventual death. Throughout the game, the player's team faces both enemy soldiers and rogue combatants who have been corrupted by Corvus. The storyline delves into themes of identity, memory manipulation, and the consequences of unrestrained technological advancement. As the player unravels the mystery, they realize their own mind may be compromised, raising questions about reality and control. The campaign offers a surreal and psychological journey, blending traditional military combat with elements of horror and science fiction. The story ends ambiguously, leaving players questioning the nature of consciousness and free will. Black Ops 4 didn't have a traditional single-player campaign like previous entries in the series. The reason for this choice is a bit unclear as to whether there were disagreements during the development or if there wasn't enough time to ship it by release. However, there is a loose narrative thread with the game's Specialist HQ mode, which provides background stories for the multiplayer specialists who are unique characters with special abilities. In the Specialist HQ, players are introduced to a covert military organization manipulating the specialists for their own agenda. This narrative is set between Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, focusing on their recruitment and training under a mysterious figure named Savannah Mason Myers, the daughter of Alex Mason. It's revealed that she's using the specialists for clandestine operations driven by her vision for future warfare. While it's not a full campaign, cutscenes and challenges in this mode provide context for each of the specialists' abilities and motivations. The story hints at personal rivalries, the consequences of advanced military technology, and Savannah's obsession with controlling global events through her manipulative schemes. It connects loosely to the broader Black Ops universe, but doesn't really follow a traditional linear story arc. The choice to not include a campaign was disappointing to fans of the series who prefer the single-player narratives they've come to expect each year. Black Ops Cold War is set during the early 1980s at the height of the Cold War, following CIA operative Russell Adler and a special task force as they track down a Soviet spy code named Perseus. Perseus aims to undermine the US by altering the balance of power through a covert operation known as Greenlight, which involves stealing American nuclear secrets. The player controls Bell, an operative recruited by Adler, whose background and past missions are shaped by the player's choices. As the team chases leads across locations like East Berlin, Vietnam, and the Soviet Union, it becomes clear that Perseus is plotting to detonate US nukes stationed in Europe, thereby destabilizing the Western world and shifting the Cold War in favor of the Soviets. The story reveals twists, as Bell's memory has been manipulated by Adler, hiding the truth about their real identity and their connection to Perseus. Depending on players' choices, the campaign offers multiple endings, much like Black Ops 2, where Bell can either help Adler stop Perseus or betray the team and assist in Perseus's mission. Its branching storylines allow for different outcomes, including catastrophic consequences for the US or a successful mission to prevent a nuclear disaster. The narrative blends historical events with conspiracy, capturing the paranoia and intrigue of Cold War espionage. Black Ops 6 is set during the period following the Cold War, which was marked by significant global political changes, with the United States emerging as the sole superpower. The Gulf War captured international attention, with a growing mistrust of government permeating through music, television, and pop culture. With this backdrop, a clandestine force infiltrates the CIA, labeling anyone who opposes it a traitor. Black Ops veteran Frank Woods, along with his team, finds themselves exiled and hunted by the military that once celebrated them. Teaming up with his protege, Troy Marshall, they're guided by CIA handler Jane Harrow, a courageous leader managing their precarious situation. However, when an operation fails, Woods and Marshall are suspended and must go rogue. They seek to build their own team of rogue agents, including tech expert Felix Newman and the trained assassin Savati Dumas. The notorious Russell Adler also returns, though his loyalty and motivations remain ambiguous. I honestly can't wait to dig deep into an actually full-fledged storyline this year. Modern Warfare 3 was so disappointing, which I'm sure was due to it being rushed, but even still, it was easily the worst writing in the franchise's history. There seems to be a much larger focus on the story, which has always been one of my favorite parts of the series. Ever since All Gillied Up in COD 4, I've been excited to play the campaign missions and have a ton of great memories binging the storylines. The conspiratorial nature of the plot definitely interests me, as it allows for twists and turns throughout the whole story. I do wish we got access a week early like we previously have gotten, as I feel like it allowed the single player to shine ahead of the multiplayer being released. I'm definitely going to try and finish out the campaign within the first week or so before I get too involved in everything we have being offered in both multiplayer and zombies.